Jujutsu Kaisen has been ongoing for a little over 5 years now, and there's been a ton of unique concepts that have been introduced and explored. While it isn't the most complex anime or manga, there is a ton of information, and that does tend to leave readers a little bit confused at times. This series aims to give a general breakdown and explanation of these various concepts, and hopefully clears them up for the average viewer. I'll be making more detailed and specific videos in the future, but today we're starting off with some of the basics.
Big L, rest in peace.
The word curse in Jujutsu Kaisen is actually very broad. It can mean the literal curses that our sorcerers fight against, but it can also be used to describe sorcerers like Geto. This ambiguity has done a number on some of the discussions over the years, most notably Sukuna being listed as a curse in the Jujutsu Kaisen wiki for an absurd length of time, despite him being very clearly stated to be a human. Curse spirits are the manifestation of negative energy that leaks out of every human. Places that harbor negative emotions like hospitals or schools tend to be breeding grounds for the formation of cursed spirits. While a lot of them tend to be relatively harmless, an almost equal amount aren't. Because of this variance in aggression and strength, cursed spirits are divided into 5 different grades by Jujutsu Tech. Curses can only be exercised via cursed energy and are impervious to damage by conventional means, which is why they're such a danger to humans. The grading system is as follows. Grade 4. Weak curses that pose no real threat due to their lack of cursed energy. Some of them can pass through walls, and if normal weapons worked on them, a human with a wooden bat could exercise them. Grade 3. These curses have a lot more common with grade 4 than they do with grade 2 or above, and if you had a handgun that could work on them, it would be enough against the grade 3 curse. Grade 2. They possess a lot more cursed energy, and they require more experienced sorcerers to be defeated. These curses also begin to show signs of intelligence, with some of them being able to speak, albeit at a limited capacity. If you ever found yourself face to face with a grade 2, even a shotgun would be a close call. Grade 1, an entirely different beast. More cursed energy, more intelligence, and in some cases, even able to use their own curse technique. Throw a tank in front of them if you want them to even flinch. Special grade. Special grade curses go beyond everything we've seen so far. Not only capable of insane output and speed, but also able to use curse techniques as well, with some of them also having access to domain expansions. A cluster bomb would be your best bet here. Ultimately, the tiers will have some vagueness to it. For example, no 2 special grades are the same, as shown by the gap in power between something like a finger bearer versus a disaster curse. And even between the 2 finger bearers, the second one is stated to be much stronger, yet both are classified as special grade. Outside of the grading system, Jujutsu Tech also has different ways of classifying curses. Ultimately, these are not important to the average viewer, as they have no bearing on the strength of a curse, because the strength of a curse, as we talked about earlier, is proportional to the negative emotions associated with it. With that being said, I think it's nice to know the different terms that are used in the series, and it'll make it a little less confusing as you go about it, because at least you know why they're calling them the way that they are. Imaginary curses. These are curses that materialize from rumors. Whether it's urban legends or ghost stories, these curses are created based on people's images of them, regardless of them being real or not. Jujutsu Tech registers these curses as imaginary vengeful spirits. Vengeful curses. Curses fixated on individuals that manifest on the condition of harming others. Rika Orimoto was bound to Yuta, harming anyone that came close to him. Identification curses. These are curses that originate from people's fear of diseases. Diseases that have inflicted enough damage to carve their names into the history books can turn into incredibly strong curses. They can be identified by the name special grade disease curses. Incarnation. These are curses that materialize after a person ingests a cursed object. The curse takes over the consciousness of its host and makes the body its own as well. Cursed spirits, but not actually. These are creatures that behave and look like cursed spirits at a glance, but are different in one key aspect, that being that they possess physical bodies that are visible to even humans. The subsection of these kind of curses is limited to transfigured humans. These are humans that have been touched by Mahito in his idol transfiguration, and they are morphed into abominations that can no longer return to their original form. Their consciousness has been taken away from them, and all that remains is an empty husk that Mahito can manipulate to his heart's content. Every show you see me in deep concentration, cause I'm your comedian. Cursed energy. Chakra is the foundational energy that almost all sorcerers and curses use. Ki control is essential to not only using techniques, but also reinforcing one's body. Whether it be to punch harder, move faster, or take less damage when defending, Nen can often make or break a fight between 2 combatants. Memes aside, cursed energy is simply Jujutsu Kaisen's version of energy. Intuitively, if you think of it as that, most applications of it will make sense. To be more specific, In JJK, curse energy is, energy formed from the negative emotions of human beings. Sorcerers are able to draw out and generate their own cursed energy. Humans cannot do this because when they experience negative emotions like anger or hatred, cursed energy just naturally flows out of them, whereas sorcerers are trained to control this flow and are able to generate cursed energy from even the slightest spark of emotion. This training is extra beneficial for avoiding the waste of cursed energy when emotions are shaken. Sorcerers mainly use cursed energy to reinforce themselves, allowing them to perform superhuman feats and to exercise curses. The flow of cursed energy starts at the stomach and travels to the chest, shoulders, arms, and fists. Thinking of the body in these separate terms, however, causes inefficiency in cursed energy usage. Not only does it take longer for the cursed energy to flow to where a sorcerer needs it, it also telegraphs intent. An experienced sorcerer keeps their cursed energy evenly distributed around their body, only reinforcing their attacks the moment before impact. This makes their attack much harder to read. Cursed energy has a few other applications that we'll cover when we talk about techniques like Black Flash, but for now, I think this is about as good a place as any to stop when it comes to cursed energy.
Ruthless. My style is a juvenile, ran with a gang, slanged in the meanwhile banking.
Most Jujutsu sorcerers are able to use curse techniques. These abilities are extremely varied and differ from person to person. Using cursed energy, sorcerers are able to power these techniques as if they were electrical appliances. Lapse. The neutral activation of a technique. Almost all techniques you see in the series fall under this category. Reversal. Multiplying negative energy with negative energy produces positive energy? This application of cursed energy is incredibly difficult, and only a handful of people can use it. The rewards, however, are worth it. Not only does this allow you to heal yourself and potentially others, but pouring this energy into your curse technique allows some sorcerers to reverse the effects of their CT. In Gojo's case, neutral limitless becomes a repelling force that blows people away instead of stopping them. Extension. Different applications of an innate curse technique. Although curse techniques can't be directly changed, they can be used in creative ways to make new techniques. Think of Nanami using his ratio on the wall. By expanding the effective hit zone of his curse technique, he's able to collapse a giant area with his critical hit. The critical hit aspect doesn't change, but the application of it does. Instead of targeting one specific spot, he now targets a giant area. Maximum output. Pouring the maximum amount of cursed energy possible into your curse technique. This is what allowed Gojo to clear a large area around him using blue in his fight against Toji. Maximum. The peak of Jujutsu techniques outside of, domain expansions. Similar to extensions, these are new techniques that are taken to their absolute maximum, creating an ultimate move. Think of Geto's Uzumaki from JJK 0. Inherited versus non-inherited. Inherited techniques are those that get passed down generation to generation. Limitless is not unique to Gojo. Instead, it has existed within his family for hundreds of years. Non-inherited techniques are one-offs that are unique to the sorcerer using it, like Todo's Boogie Woogie or Nanami's Ratio technique. Examples of curse techniques. Gojo's Limitless. A technique that slows down anything that approaches, causing them to converge eternally. Megami's 10 Shadows. Using shadows as a medium, 10 Shadows users are able to summon various Shikigami, all with their own unique abilities. Yuji's Hands technique. A technique that allows Yuji to throw Wait, this isn't even a tech. And that about does it. JJK can be confusing at times, but once you start reading into the power system more, things start to make a little bit more sense. Fights that might have been confusing at first suddenly make a lot more sense when you realize how they were being affected by the power system. Next time I'll be covering barrier techniques and techniques in general, and since the series is aimed to be anime only friendly, I'll mostly be covering things that have been shown in the anime. For stuff that's more manga specific, they'll get their own videos or shorts depending on how much content there is. Anyway, thank you for watching, drop a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.